Winter can be really hard when the sun is gone for so long and the cold keeps us indoors and the days are so short, and if anyone's like me and you experience the winter blues, you just want the season to be over immediately. Well, I wanted this winter to be different, so we're going to share a few ways to embrace winter and make the most of this season. Hello and welcome back to our home. I have my water, my matcha, and my notes. I'm going to be reading off of these, so if I'm looking down at this, don't mind that. So we're sharing ways to fully embrace the winter season because I know it can be hard, and I personally have never loved winter, but by embracing more of a winter mindset, I think I am learning to love winter more, which is a really big step for me. All right, so first on the list is to decide to embrace it. Choosing to embrace the winter season is the first step to actually enjoying it. Winter can be magic if you let it.
Before this dreadful winter.
Winter's not all bad. There's ice skating and snowball fights. Oh, and Christmas.
I love this clip because, well, for one, I grew up reading the Narnia books, but I think it really highlights the difference that a mindset shift can make in terms of loving or hating any particular thing. But winter is obviously what we're talking about now. Because you have, on the one hand, someone that's like, winter's the worst, I hate it, I can't stand it. And then on the other hand, you have this beautiful, darling little girl that's like, winter's wonderful, there's so many beautiful things about it. And I think that's a mindset shift that really changes just the way winter feels day to day, because it's so easy to get bogged down by the weather and the temperature and the lack of sunlight. So something you have to do is to adopt a winter mindset. And I found this article here that highlights how people in colder countries have a very positive outlook about winter. The mindset shift of choosing to embrace the magic of winter allows these cultures to survive the harsh conditions with a sense of joy, which I think is really beautiful. Here's a quote from the article. In nature, winter is a time for rest and recuperation. But we humans don't think those patterns apply to us. Nature changes its behavior for the winter, and so should we. It's perfectly natural for us to slow down, recharge, and relax during this season. But how to adopt this mindset? Okay, I have an idea. This is a bit of a segue, but when you were a kid, did you ever play pretend like you were impoverished or an orphan or fallen on hard times like a famine or something like that? When I was a kid, I was really obsessed with the Great Depression. I knew everything about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, and I read a lot about it and I researched a lot about it as a kid. I was like 7 or 8 years old, something like that. And I would have my cousins play the Great Depression with me, and we would pretend to be a little family, and one of us would be the mom, one of us would always be the baby. We always had like an infant that we had to take care of. And one of us would go out to work on the railroads, and we would have to bring home a pittance to feed the baby, and we would be starving, etc. Yeah, it was intense. But we loved to play that. It was one of our favorite games. And I was thinking about that, and I've seen a lot of memes about something like people playing similar things as children and being like, what was with that, right? Well, I actually did a little bit of research on it, not too much research, but I was just looking up about, why kids play like that. So I found this. Children often play pretend as orphans or poor to process complex emotions, understand unfamiliar situations, and explore empathy by walking in someone else's shoes. This type of imaginative play helps them practice survival scenarios, build resilience, and experiment with social roles in a safe environment. That psychology is so interesting, and I think that spirit of imagination can really help us when it comes to winter, for one, obviously, that's what we're talking about, but also just difficult times in our lives. I think to fully embrace winter, something you could do is to put yourself in someone else's shoes for a while. You can play pretend as Anastasia, that scene where she's in the snow. If you know, you know. a Norwegian shopkeeper. You could be a Mongolian villager or a Japanese tea house owner. All of these obviously set in the wintertime. A lot of us seem to have forgotten how to play pretend, and it makes life very lackluster, in my opinion. A lot of times you might think that things were better when you were a kid, like you have a sense of nostalgia for when you were a child and you didn't have the same responsibilities and you had an innocence that you maybe don't have anymore. But I think we still, as adults, need to make believe sometimes. We don't stop needing to process difficult things when we grow up, and I think our imaginations are really great tools to deal with those things. So, that being said, here's a little list of things you can play during the winter. Different tasks might require different make-believe scenarios, and even when you're at work, depending on what you do for work, you can play out some of these things and not be so bogged down day after day. And put any make-believe ideas in the comments as well. Number 2, do your hobbies. I started knitting recently, and I started it to kind of like check it off a list of hobbies that I wanted to try, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna knit something real quick and then I could check it off the list. But I was kind of humbled because I started about a month ago and I'm still not done with a knitting project. But I think that's a good thing because something that winter forces you to do is slow down. And I think it's important to slow down. And I say that, and even though I say that, a lot of times I keep trying to be full throttle, full steam ahead, like not stopping and working extremely hard, and it catches up to you. And winter is the time to slow down. It really is. So knitting kind of forced me to do that a little bit. And I really enjoy the process of it. If I was trying to finish in a week, I wouldn't be able to because I'm still getting the hang of knitting. But I think it kind of humbled me in a way that I needed. Something that Alex likes to do is play video games, but recently him and I have been playing some games together. For example, Mario Kart. It's the only game that I really know how to play, and I've actually gotten a little better. I'm not great, but I am not dead last. I used to be. At one point, I was completely dead last every time. I still found it really fun, but I was not good at it. But I'm kind of getting better, and it's a fun thing to do in the winter when you kind of have to be indoors a little more than usual. A video game is a fun thing to pull out and play. Something that I've been started doing recently is making stamps. Making stamps is so fun. You can kind of just create a little, like we made this little logo. The A didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, okay? Let's be real. It doesn't really look like an A. I don't know what it is. But I tried my best, and that's what matters. It's something we want to use to stamp our books, like all the books that we collect. But yeah, you can make anything into a stamp. You can gift it to someone. You can keep it for yourself. It doesn't really matter. It's completely up to you. It's a fun little hobby that I have discovered, and it's fairly cheap, which is nice. Reading. Reading is a hobby that is accessible to everyone because we all have smartphones. You can search up anything online, really, and read about it. Nonfiction, fiction. You can go to the library. That's free. And there's a million things out there. If you have any sort of niche interest, any question that you're wondering throughout the day, instead of just Googling and getting a quick answer, maybe like do a little bit of research into it. There's a lot of things that you can like go down these rabbit trails about, how like anything that you're interested in at all. I'll put some topics here that are really interesting to me, but everyone has a niche interest, and now's your chance to really dive into it. Another thing I've been doing recently is making these little houses. I got these little kits for Christmas, and this is also something that kind of humbled me because I was like, it'll be quick. It's this tiny little house. It'll take like an hour. It took me like 4 hours, and I'm still not done with this tiny little thing. Like it's really, really small. But anyway, that's been fun to do. A fun idea that I had was to make a little hobby tray that you can carry between living room, dining room, bedroom, wherever you want to plop down and do one of your hobbies. It's really fun because a lot of times when I am wanting to do like a craft or a hobby, I'm like, then it's gonna just be strewn all over the table, and I can't have that because I don't have a very big apartment. So I don't have the space to just have like a little hobby laying out covering half the table because I need to eat on the table. Or I can't have it just like all strewn across the couch because the cats will get to it. It's harder to really dive into a hobby when I know it's gonna make a mess or it's just gonna be another added pile of things. So I made this little hobby tray where I have everything in one place and carry it around from room to room. I wanna plop down on the couch for a while, great, take the hobby tray over there, now I have something to do with my hands. Or now I have something to read because the books that I'm reading are in my little hobby tray. I have my knitting. I don't have to get up and like walk all the way to the other side of the apartment and, oh, well, I forgot this thing over here. Oh, well, I don't. It's all in one spot, which is really nice. And I think it's a really great idea if I do say so myself. I was trying to figure out what to use that tray for because I love this wood tray and I finally figured it out. So I'm excited. It's been fun. It's been great. 3, big light off. If you know me, you know I have a deep, deep hatred for overhead lights. I think this is the time, if you are an overhead light person, to invest in some candles or lamps because wintertime is the time to get cozy. And the coziest thing you can do is turn off the big light and turn on some lamps. If you're gonna be indoors, you wanna be in a cozy environment, and that's the best way to make your living environment very cozy is to have the warm lamplight. And since the sun goes down earlier and earlier, you're getting less of that warm sunlight, so might as well have the warm lamplight. Another thing about the sun going down earlier and the days getting shorter is that winter solstice, December 21st, 22nd, depending on the year, is a turning point in the calendar of the days starting to get longer, and a lot of cultures celebrate winter solstice as the return of sunlight. So I think it's a really nice thing to kind of mark in your calendar. We don't really celebrate it in the States, but to like mark it in your calendar and be like, the light is returning. There is hope yet to come. Now is a turning point, the winter solstice. I think that's a nice little thing to celebrate in your life or in your heart. Number 4, warm up with some hot chocolate or soup. You should be changing your diet seasonally. And winter is the time to eat really warm, cozy food. And that would be things like soups or stews or roasts and hot chocolate or hot coffees or teas, because it really makes you feel warm and cozy. When you're eating, get real cozy, eat real slowly, and just enjoy your food. Good food is a great way to add joy to your life. Even the simplest soups are so comforting and so cozy. 5, get out of the house for an outing. You can walk around the mall, a thrift store, a bookstore, not necessarily to buy anything, but just to get out of the house. But if it's hard to go shopping without spending a ton of money, then hit up the library. Look through some books or games or whatever they've got, and sometimes they'll even have events at the library. Look into some of those too. Number 6 is snuggle up and watch seasonal movies or any shows. If you've been wanting to binge watch a show, now is your time. If you're gonna be indoors, might as well make good use of it and watch something that you've been wanting to watch. You have a free pass to binge watch something. It's the winter time. You have to be slowing down because nature is telling you to do so. And we are part of nature as human beings. And if slowing down to you means binge watching a show, I'm not gonna stop you and I'm not gonna judge you. Alex and I just finished watching My Hero Academia. We binged the last 2.5 seasons in 2 days, which is actually crazy numbers. And we loved it. It was amazing. And we would not take it back because we had a lot of fun watching and reacting to it. It's a really good show, by the way. Highly recommend. But anyway, something else that I recently rewatched was Little Women. The 80s, 90s, I don't know, the one with Winona Ryder is much happier and cozier in my opinion than the 2019 one. The 2019 one is kind of sad, so I don't fully recommend watching that if you are dealing with winter blues. The older one is a lot happier, and it does take place primarily in winter, so it's kind of like a fun wintry movie that is happy. Number 7 is make winter outfits. Here's another quote from that article. In Norway, they have this saying, "There's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. You want to be warm enough. That's the number one thing that makes the biggest difference in people's comfort and ability to get outside." So put together some outfits for this season. And if it's in the budget, go buy some really warm winter clothing. And if it's not in the budget, go into your closet, see what you have, dig some things out, You might find that there's a really cute pairing that you haven't put together that happens to be really warm. And if you end up organizing your closet in the process, that's just an added bonus. Speaking of organizing, number 8 is organize and clean. I know this doesn't sound so fun, but if you have to be inside, might as well make the most of it and do some deep cleaning. It'll be much more peaceful staying indoors when your place is clean and tidy. All right, number 9, do things you like to do as a kid. This could be playing old MMOs or computer games. This could be old games you liked as a kid, board games. You could do this with some friends, invite some friends over, have a board game night. You can do little crafts that you enjoyed as a kid. You can make believe, like I already said. Number 10, self-care. I know that's a term that's thrown around a lot, but it could just be whatever things you can do that make you feel like you're taken care of. It could be taking a really long shower, taking a bath. It's been ages since I've taken a bath. I'm like long overdue for a bath. No, I shower. That sounded bad. I'm not a dirty person. That sounded bad too. Okay, I need to stop. I need to slow down. I have not taken a bath in the bathtub for a long time. Whatever. You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. You could have like the Epsom salts in there. I saw someone had they cut up citrus. They had like citrus slices floating around in there. That looks fun. Never tried it. Who knows? Maybe, I'm sure it's good for you somehow. Try that if that sounds fun for you. Alex and I did a face mask recently. They were expensive, so I don't know if I quite recommend that, but he felt like a little princess. He didn't know what to think of it. I don't think he'd ever done a face mask before, but it was fun. It was a good time. Just anything that makes you feel like you're taking care of yourself. Do that at home. Since you gotta be indoors, might as well take care of yourself. And 11 is move around, because I've talked a lot about staying indoors and being inside and being cooped up and resting and relaxing, but our bodies do need some movement. So this could mean bundling up and going out for a winter walk if it's safe. Sometimes it can be really icy out there. I've tripped a couple times already. It could be doing workout videos indoors. They have so many workout videos on YouTube. There's like the Thai bow ones I've been doing. There's like Jane Fonda. I think they have like the P90X. I used to do those a lot. They're all on YouTube. There's a whole array of workout videos you could do on YouTube, and you don't need to leave the house for that. You could do winter sports. Alex and I are not very winter sporty people, but I know that exists and some people enjoy it. So if you do, go for it. So that was our list of 11 things to do to fully embrace this season. And I think that this list could be for any time in your life where maybe you're going through something really difficult and it's hard for you to go outside. Maybe you have some sort of illness. Maybe you're dealing with an injury. Because winter, metaphorically, also means any sort of time of hardship or stress, I would say. Because if you think about it, in nature, a lot of things go dormant, a lot of things hibernate, a lot of things insulate. And I think that's a really important skill that we also need as part of nature. We are just as much a part of nature as the trees and the grass and the grizzly bears and whatever else. So I think we need to really, truly embrace the fact that winter means slowing down. Of course, the new year falls in the dead of winter, and everyone's trying to lock in and do all these crazy goals and things like that. And of course, it never pans out because winter is the hardest time to do all of those things because nature and your body is telling you that you need to relax and slow down. So just really embrace that need, that innate need that we naturally have to relax and slow down and insulate, hibernate. I think it's necessary. And if you're going through any sort of difficult season in your life, I think that's another good thing to remember, that seasons come, but they'll eventually go, and it'll be spring soon. It doesn't feel like it when you're in the middle of winter, but very soon the sun will come back out, and you'll forget how dark and cold it was. And if you love winter, please comment down below all the things you love about winter, because it's nice to have that little reminder. I have personally never really loved winter, but I'm starting to love it more and more now that I've really decided to embrace it. And I think it's a beautiful reminder of the fact that we're just as much a part of nature as everything else, and we need to adapt just like nature does. And that is completely normal. And I hope that that encourages you. So thank you so much for watching. I think my matcha has finally cooled down and I can drink it. Yeah, maybe it's a little too cold now. That's fine. But thank you so much. I think I want to make some more videos like this in terms of seasonal guides. So of course in spring we'll do spring, summer, fall, we'll see where it goes from there. But let me know if you like it. Give it a thumbs up if you do, because that really does say a lot about what we should make in the coming months. So love you guys so much. Thank you again, and bye.